Check the mic and make sure it sound right, boys. It sound right, boys. Sound right, boys. It sound right, boy.
Whoa! What's happening? Welcome to Luna Live. How's everybody doing tonight? G here, back at Luna Geckos. You've heard that before, I'm sure. Oh, Jay's here. DEA's here. Frank's here. I'm just looking real quick to see who's hanging out. Oh, Bernie Sanders is here. What's up, Bernie? How's maple syrup country? It's not the real Bernie Sanders. It's Adam. Crescent Creatures Cafe. Very cool. Wally, how do I look? Does the camera make me look skinny? Old? Fat? Be nice. This is safe space. It's supposed to be nice. So that's what I wanted to talk about. Before we get started tonight, I wanted to talk about why we started this new series, Safe Space, as part of Luna Live. What I think the community needs is I think the community needs an outlet. We need a place where people can ask questions without worrying about getting bashed or feeling stupid or made fun of or being marginalized or outcast. We all started somewhere. We all knew nothing at some point. Some of us know way more than others. I'm not one of those guys. I do not claim to be an expert, and nor will I try to pretend to be an expert. And I think one of the best things to do when you don't know an answer to a question is just say, I don't know, but let's find out. Don't try to be an expert. Don't pretend to be an expert. There are experts, or there are people perhaps that know more than others. Those are the people that we can lean on. And so tonight, as we venture into our first safe space on Luna Live. I'm not going to try to answer every single question because I promise you there are going to be plenty of questions that I just simply say, I don't know. And what I'd like to have happen is I'd like to have everybody else that's participating in the comments help with an answer. But please, let's be respectful, let's be kind, and let's make it a safe space. That's what we're trying to accomplish here. Now, before we jump in, I want to introduce another new segment. Man, tonight's all about new stuff. Here we are, brand new, Luna Live, Safe Space Q&A. And on top of that, we're going to introduce another segment. Well, this is a segment that you're probably going to see come up reoccurring in our regular episodes. Remember, every Sunday, 11 a.m. Central Standard Time, new episode right here on Luna Geckos channel. You may see some more of this. This is a segment that we're calling Go Time. And we want to show you what Go Time is. Oh, there it is. Oh, I got to point the other way. No, go back. Handy dandy. What's going on? I got to look this way. Man, this whole camera thing. You know what? One of the things before I jump into this, when you go live in the Gecko room, it's hot. So, you're going to see that a lot because I don't have any makeup on. There's really no way to fix this. What is Go Time? Go is an acronym. It stands for G's Oration. What's oration? Jason might ask in Canada. Oh, that's what oration is. It's public speech characterized by a studied or elevated style, diction, or delivery. Did you get that, Jay? I hope so. So what is it? What's the purpose of Go Time? Purpose of Go Time, you can probably call it a rant. You can call it pontification, perhaps. Doesn't even have to be about geckos. And tonight, our Go Time subject has nothing to do with geckos. It's about YouTube. And something about YouTube that drives me crazy. Every time I watch a YouTube video, right here at the beginning, they stop and they say, if you like this video, please hit the like button. Please subscribe to my channel. Please hit the notify bell. Please leave comments. Please share it with your friends. Please write letters to your senators and congressmen declaring today my national YouTube channel day. Whatever it is. What are you talking about? We haven't even watched the video yet. How do I know if I like it? How do I know if I want to subscribe? It's like being at a restaurant and before you've ordered, you just sat down and the waiter comes up and says, here, if you'd like to leave me a tip, I would appreciate it. Well, that doesn't make any sense. I'd kind of like to order. I'd kind of like to hear your recommendations. Maybe I'd like to have dessert. Maybe I'd like to see the bill. Then I'll decide if I want to leave you a tip. That's what I think people should do. Wait until the end of the video. Then you ask people, if you like this video, please like, please subscribe, please comment, please share, please ring the bell. Don't ask me in the beginning. I don't know if I like your video. Haven't even freaking watched it yet. Anyway, that's Go Time. Enough of that. Let's jump into our first safe space, Luna Live. Ah, look at that. Handy dandy over here. Oh, she's over there. Or maybe she's over there. I don't know. One way or the other. But nonetheless, what I'd really like tonight is I'd like people to have fun. I'd like them to participate. I'd like to build a community. And in addition to this new series on Luna Live, we've actually set up a server. So there's now a Luna Geckos server on Discord. And there's a channel on that server appropriately named Safe Space. There's a link down in the description. Man, these lives, you can't even do an edit. What's Handy Dandy going to do tonight? So there's a link down in the description to our new Discord channel called Safe Space. It's open access. Don't need an invitation. Go ahead and check it out. But please, the same rules apply to what we're trying to accomplish here. It's a safe space. It's a place for people to ask questions. It's a place for people to learn. It's a place to do it without fear of retribution or being bashed or marginalized or made fun of. That's what we're trying to accomplish. We got a couple great breeders helping us out on that new Safe Space service. I don't think it's a service. Server. Actually, it's a channel. The server is Luna Geckos server on Discord. The channel on that server is Safe Space. Remember, a link down in the description. We just launched it a few days ago. We've had a couple people on just testing it out. Handy Dandy's on it. So come on over and join us. And remember, there's no dumb questions. So what's going on out there, Handy Dandy? What are people thinking? Hey, Wally, I wore this for you. Old guys rule. You guys did a great job last night. That was a really fun show. Enjoyed it. If you didn't get a chance to check it out, Wally at Supreme Geckos and Geeky Gecko Creations did a live stream last night. It was the Battle Royale where they competed over what the best gecko, or I guess what the best pet gecko was. Wally was on the side of Crested. See this, Wally? And Frank was on the side of Leopard Geckos. I think it might have ended in a draw. It was kind of like that Rocky where I forget what Rocky it was. Was it like Rocky 40? Rocky 50? I don't remember. The one at the very end where they both punched the same... It might have been Rocky 1, where they both hit each other at the exact same time. And it was just a matter of who got up. That was last night. Oh, yeah. Pretty bruised up, huh? Teach you to mess with the old guys, Frank. Don't mess with the old guys. So Handy Dandy is over here running the comment screen. She's trying to sort them out and keep people up there. DEA. Is that Andrew? We've never met, but I know DEA Exotics. I think, is your name Andrew, I think? Well, thank you, Crescent Creatures. So if you had a chance, I guess a week or so ago, we did a Luna Live with Sam Fard from Reptile Express International up in Canada. And I was drinking out of a solo cup. And there was a lot of speculation about what was in that solo cup. Well, this is water. This isn't vodka. So just to make sure you knew. Oh, clear winner. Wally says clear winner. I'm with you, man. I'm split. I love crested geckos. You know that. I said that last night. I produce way more leopard geckos than, there you go. You got an endorsement from Wally. Friend of Wally's, friend of mine. Wally and I don't know each other personally, but we've just been talking for maybe a month. And I've been watching his videos over at Supreme Gecko for a long time. And, you know, I get a sense for people. And I just feel like Wally is maybe one of the nicest, if not the nicest person in the leopard gecko, or really in the community in general. So Wally is a man of many hats. So leopard geckos, crested geckos, isopods, you name it. But I just get a sense that he's a genuinely kind man. And I enjoy watching your videos, Wally. It's great. The white hair gene. It's dominant, brother. It's dominant. As you saw last night, it's dominant. Wally kicked your butt. Yeah. Yeah, I think, what are you, you just had a birthday. Aren't you like in your 30s and you got white hair? It's a lot of stress. Wally, Crested Creatures. Oh, it's Crescent Creatures Cafe. She said they scare her. Crested geckos scare her. $33. You know what? In a previous life, I was in the casino business. You know what 33 is? It's a hard 6 when you're playing craps. I bet you've wished your whole life you were a hard 6.
Moving on.
We're going the wrong way. We're going the wrong way. That was in fun. This is safe space, man. That wasn't an attack. That was in fun. Adam's 33. Adam, we have a video coming out Sunday, and that whole video on Sunday is how to ship a gecko Luna style. That's our 11 a.m. Central Time gecko video that's going to come out on Sunday, and it happens to be a shipment of a couple black night crosses that are headed up to Vermont. So maybe Bernie Sanders will let you see him when he gets them. Man, you guys are crazy over here. You know what? Last week, before we jumped on this live, obviously, because it was last week, we reached out on Instagram, and we asked our Instagram followers if they had any questions that we could address for tonight. Now, these questions aren't necessarily verbatim. What we tried to do is take similar questions and we tried to categorize them and put them in a common pool or a common bucket. But before we show any of those, I want to talk a little bit about Instagram. And I've had some guys in their 30s that said, man, you're too old for Instagram. What are you doing on Instagram? You're supposed to be on Facebook. That's kind of funny because when we started this, I don't know, Luna Geckos came to be. You got to go back and watch the story of Luna Geckos and how it all came to be. It's one of our videos here. But Luna Geckos came to be, and I'm an old guy. So first thing I did was I created a Luna Geckos Facebook page. Ultimately, I moved around a lot, and every time I'd move, I'd get a new cell phone. And in one of those moves early on, I got a new cell phone. And somehow got shut out of Luna Gecko's Facebook account and was never able to reconfirm myself to be back in control of that. It's just floating out there in no man's land now. So I had to go ahead and set up the Luna Geckos on Facebook. So if you're looking for us on Facebook, it's the Luna Geckos. But honestly, I don't spend that much time there. And I'll tell you why. My daughter is... she's a college student now, so when we were first starting this, I was all excited about, hey, look, I set up this Facebook account, and it's going to be cool, and she said that. Only old and mean people are on Facebook. You don't want to be on Facebook. You want to be on Instagram. So I set up an Instagram account, Luna Geckos. Most of you have seen it and know it. And for about, I guess, 3 or 4 years now, we've been going hard on Instagram. And what we found is the community on Instagram has been fantastic. And I don't know if my daughter was right or wrong because I just don't spend that much time on Facebook. Most of my Facebook posts, there's one every once in a while that are specific to Facebook. But most of my Facebook posts are really just that toggle button on Instagram that when I do my morning Instagram post, it just sends the exact same post over to Facebook. So don't spend a whole lot of time over there. But, I understand that it can get nasty at times. And what we don't want to have happen is we don't want to have that happen on Instagram. So people get mad, they get cranky, and they just get all over each other. And next thing you know, everybody's gone. And they look around and they say, where'd everybody go? And then they look over the hill there and they say, oh, they're all on Instagram. We're going to go to Instagram now too. Well, that's fine. Instagram's awesome. We welcome everybody. But just don't bring that with you. Start over. Start fresh. Be nice. Be happy. Life's too short to be cranky. Be happy. There you go. Less crankiness on IG and YouTube. Flip up the other screen because these comments are flying. I can't keep up. So tonight we're only going to be on for about an hour. We're not going to do like one of those 14-hour Jerry Lewis telethon things that Frank does over at Geeky Gecko Creations. So, at some point you got to sleep, and Handy Dandy's got to watch Outlander. So we can't stay here all night. I hope everybody's having a good night. Yeah, 14 hours. You probably don't even know who Jerry Lewis is. You're too young. He used to do March of Dimes telethon. Was it March of Dimes? I think it was March of Dimes. He'd be on for 24 hours straight, try to raise money. We should actually do one of those. We should do a live stream on. Can't do it on my channel because I don't have an ability to. I don't have an ability for super chat and football player. Yeah, that's Ray Lewis, different guy. I don't have an ability to do super chats, but that's actually a good idea. I don't know, Wally, you might want to think about that. Maybe we do a live stream on your channel where it's just different people coming in and coming out. And the whole purpose is to raise, X amount of dollars for US ARC. And we just stay on. We just keep rotating people in, and we stay on until we get to that dollar amount. That'd be cool. I mean, anybody that has an ability to do that. yeah. There you go. I think it'd be cool. That, you know what? That's kind of another thing on Safe Space. I think, hey, Maritime's here. I'm going to say it wrong. I don't have your website up in front of me. Tell me, largest gecko breeder in the Maritime province. You're in PEI, I think. But I think that would be cool. I think, some sort of US ARC marathon would be cool. And we support US ARC. Do I think there should be a mandate to support US ARC? No, I don't. I believe in Atlantic, Canada. There you go. I only lived in Canada for a year, so you got to cut me a little break on that. I don't even think I know all the provinces. Certainly don't know all the territories, but I just don't think you should be pressured or forced into making a donation. I think you should make your own decision. Imagine if, we were on here saying, I personally believe, this is my opinion, personally believe it's a good cause, certainly support US ARC, think it's great, but I don't think it should be mandated. Imagine, what's next? We all have to give to the United Way. So I just think that's an individual decision. It kind of feels like we're going back to go time, but I think it should be an individual decision. Yeah, we're back to go time. We're doing a double dip on go time, but I do think a marathon of sorts, with some, I don't know, I picture like one of those big thermometers, like for the week of giving or the month of giving. And like every time there's a donation, we're like filling in the thermometer. Oh, Wally likes Outlander too. Oh, she's killing me on Outlander, man. Killing me. I was into it, but I fall asleep. And then when I wake up, she's still awake, and she's now 5 episodes ahead of me. So I have no idea what the heck's going on, other than that Jamie and Claire have way too much interest in breeding for. They're like master breeders. I hope they don't get into the gecko business, because Jamie and Claire are going to create like 2 million geckos a season.
Yeah, Adam, I told him I'm going to go ahead and finish it, and then I can watch it with him from episode 1, and we'll take it, as slow as he'd like.
Go back to the split comment screen so I could see everybody. How's it going up there, Jay? Jay lives up there by Santa Claus. So Maritime's all the way over and down. Jay's all the way, his next door neighbor is Santa. So he's way up there. We used to ship geckos when I lived in Toronto. We used to ship geckos to Jay, and the last leg of the trip was on dog sled. I'm just kidding. Wally, you'd look good in a kilt. If we do this marathon thing, I think Wally should wear a kilt.
Wally kind of looks like Jamie.
Wally doesn't have red hair. Wally actually kind of looks like my brother-in-law.
He does.
He looks like Paul, yeah. Much more handsome, but he looks like Paul. They only show on that other screen. So I talked about Instagram, but we never answered any questions. So let's flip back over and try to hit some of these Instagram categories or questions that came up.
Okay, here's your first one.
Do you have a favorite YouTube channel? Yeah, you're on it, man. It's Luna Geckos. So, no. It looks... He just got killed in the episode I watched today, so I hope you're...
That is untrue.
Yeah, his godfather or whatever.
Stop. Do not give any spoilers.
Oh, okay. Sorry, if you're watching Outlander, turn the volume off so we don't talk about it anymore. YouTube channels that I do... I'm going to talk like non-gecko channel. Well... I used to love watching Matt's episodes, but looking forward to him coming and putting out some new content. You can only watch, Matt clean poop. I think the limit's about 10 times, and then you can't watch that episode anymore, so you have to move on. But from a gecko standpoint, probably Matt's channels. I like Brian over at Altitude Exotics from a crested gecko standpoint, and we'll stick with the Brian theme. Is it Cusco? Brian Cusco? I think Brian Cusco has a really cool channel. He's done. He's really elevated the game. It's somewhat theatrical, not just somebody sitting in front of a camera like me and talking. He's done a great job.
Don't insult Frank. You watch him every night.
Frank. I go to sleep. Frank. What's that called? ASMR. Yeah, Frank, you should start publishing ASMR videos because, man, if I can't fall asleep, I just turn on one of your lives, and after like hour 13, I'm out.
All right, next question.
Gecko racks. Can't show them because they're over there. They are VE. I assume we're talking about leopard geckos and African fat tails. Oh, here, I take it. It's a little bit messy over here. I assume we're talking about these. There's Miss Poppy Dog showing out. These are they are all VE6 racks that I purchased from Reptile Basics. And the problem, I don't know if it's a problem yet or not, because I'm out of space, so I have 4 more that I have to build. But when we used to buy these in the past, they came assembled. Actually, the last 2 I bought, I was living in Toronto, and Reptile Basics didn't ship to Canada, so I had them ship them to a FedEx location at, thanks, Jay. I had them shipped to a FedEx location in Buffalo and drove across the border, threw 2 of these racks in my car, drove back across the border, and the agent said, "You have any?" what's in the boxes. You have anything to declare? And I showed him the paperwork, and he's like, he drove to Buffalo to get reptile racks. But anyway, the cool thing is they used to come fully assembled. Now they don't come assembled. So I have 2 of them that have been sitting here forever that I have to assemble. And I'm not sure if I'm happy about it yet. So I'll let you know. Maybe, I don't even know if we'll video the assembly. So my first reptile. So my first reptile was a Burmese python. I think I wouldn't recommend a Burmese python as your first reptile. And it was a female. Her name was Athena, and I got her in 1987. And Wally will appreciate this. Prior to getting Athena, I was I don't know. I don't want to tell you how old I was. I was in high school, but I don't want to tell you how old I was then. But prior to getting Athena, in my earlier years, late single digits, I don't know, 8 years old, 9 years old, whatever, all the way until into high school, I was a fish guy. So I was into amphibians and like everybody, right? We used to catch salamanders, and we used to go get the eggs from the pond and, do all that stuff. So, yeah, the same year you were born, Adam. That's right, 1987.
They're 88.
So, anyway, a lot of fish, then reptiles, then late college switched back to fish, but this time I was out of freshwater. I was into reef tanks and really just enjoyed saltwater aquariums off and on for many years. I think my last reef tank had a really nice established reef tank right before at our house in Las Vegas, right before we moved to Toronto. And I was already exporting hundreds of geckos for the move to Toronto. The fish in the reef tank just didn't make the cut, so they didn't come over. Favorite breeder? It's Claire from Outlander.
Stop it.
I don't know exactly if that question was related to a breeder gecko or a breeder of geckos. The easy part of the question, if it's breeder of geckos, I'd probably say John at Gecko Boa. We have quite a few animals from John. If it's one of our geckos, it's going to be Cinco. And it might be because Cinco's never successfully bred. We were so excited about Mr. Cinco this year. And as we have another video up, Mr. Cinco, first year breeder, hold back from 2020. He prolapsed on, I think it was the second female he was with. And he's doing fine. He's over here. But we're resting him out for the season. I'm gonna get him. So let that screen just be blank for a minute.
Should I say hi?
Yeah, say hi to everybody.
Nah.
There's Handy Dandy. Go back to full screen. There he is. That's Mr. Cinco.
How's he doing?
He's got a 5 on his back. That's why he's named Cinco. It's upside down right now, but really dig this fella. He's cool. He's super calm because, his sugar baths and trying to put honey on his...
Is his incision closed?
His thingy. Oh, yeah, his incision's closed. He's a cool guy. He's a blood emerine. Was supposed to be with 3 females this season. And obviously the prolapse didn't work out. So we're resting him. We're resting him for the rest of the season, and we'll give him another go. The female that he prolapsed with actually laid eggs, but they were. I don't
want you to send Cinco with,
yeah, I see
with Pony Boy.
Pony Boy. Yeah, they were. The eggs were infertile, and that gecko has not laid any additional clutches. So the last hope that Mr. Cinco was going to successfully breed for the season is over. You know what, Jay? Geckos are so mixed that, there's so many lines and everything mixed. This is my opinion, is I don't, unless you're, and there's debate around the giant and the super giant gene and all that. Typically, if it was a pure species, generally the male is a little bit larger than the female. But our genetics are so crossed and mixed, and I don't know that I would be able to say that that's a definitive rule of thumb. I don't know. Anyone else have an opinion on that? I think it would. Are you talking about freshwater or saltwater? I did have later in the freshwater years. I had those what are those big Oscars? So I did have some big predator fish later in my freshwater days. But when I switched to saltwater, I didn't keep sharks or stingrays or any of that. It was more ornamental, and I was very interested in setting up organic or natural reef environments. So, I just preferred the color, but you had to be careful what you selected, because if you put a bunch of coral in or invertebrates in, you had to make sure you didn't get a fish that would eat that stuff, because that stuff's pretty expensive. So I guess I would say more interested in ornamental, pretty fish. It's I read ahead and saw Cool Whip, and I said, man, you might be onto something. I never heard about Cool Whip but I get it now. It depends how long. I have, sometimes you have to get to know your females. I have females that every 12 days, like clockwork, boom, another clutch. And then I have other females that are on a regular cycle of 18 to 21 days. They don't miss a clutch. It's just that particular female takes 18, 19, 20, 21 days between clutches. Now, I don't start to get overly worried until you start to get past that 20-day mark, unless it's a female that historically, I have a couple over here that are always between 18 and 21 days, and they have been for 2 or 3 seasons, so I don't worry about them at all. But if you do start to get to that period, a nice warm bath helps. Periodic soakings. At some point, if the gecko's happy, then you can continue with that and hope that either the eggs get absorbed or laid. And if the gecko begins to look like she's in distress, I would seek exotic veterinary care. Poppy's up. She just snorted and looked at me. Cinco? Yeah, Frank. This Cinco's a 2020 holdback, so he's not even a year yet. I would have to go look. He was an early hatch in 2020. I want to say he was a May hatch, so at this point he's, I guess, 10 months, somewhere thereabouts. I don't have any terribly old breeder males, so I seem to find it happens more with the younger males. They just seem to be, maybe they're not fully developed, maybe they're just a little too anxious or eager. maybe I didn't see the incident, so maybe a fight of some sort ensued and he injured it. So there's a multitude of reasons that it could happen, but I if I had to pick a side, I would say it's probably more common with first-time breeders or with younger geckos than older. Was that question? Let's go back to give me the full screen so I can see more than one question at a time. I'm not sure, Jay, exactly if that was back to the
That was back to his question, yeah.
back to the Cool Whip question, or what's Wally doing? He's cleaning, back to the computer. Now he's going to type. Thank you, sir. Yeah, deadly tarantula girl. I don't.
You answered her question. Right?
Yeah, I did, but I hope that helped. Never kept. My daughter has tarantulas, and she's done some other arachnids along the way. I've never kept one. The other she does mantises. She does some interesting stuff. I find them to be cool. I just you gotta pick what you're gonna work with. I can't work with everything. It's got to be Outlander. We're talking about it all night. So, you know what? I don't.
Is it to appease me though?
No, I don't.
You still have Sons of Anarchy.
I don't. Well, that was a long time ago. I don't watch a ton of television. Our regular routine was
Game of Thrones.
Well, but those are all gone. But I would say that probably the show that we watched the most would be like Special Victims Unit, right?
Oh yeah.
Because we would,
SVU.
yeah, SVU. That would be our go to bed at night and turn on a couple episodes of SVU and then fall asleep. But don't really watch a lot of TV. Favorite YouTube video, I assume. It hasn't been released yet. It's coming out Sunday. I think. The topic of shipping a gecko maybe has been covered a million times. But I don't know. We just went through final edits today and uploaded it, I guess, earlier this afternoon. And Handy Dandy pulled out all the stops on this one. So I don't know. I'm excited about it. I think it's a very well done video. And based on the director and producer and the editor, not me, I think she did a great job with it. So, yeah, check out Sunday.
Whip. Yes.
That's funny. I think I have about, we're on like a breeding rotation right now. So there might be 4 or 5 pairings over there right now. I hear some tail rattling, so that's a good sign.
I would say your feeder video was your favorite before Sunday. Though.
Yeah, feeder video was fun. Yeah, that was fun.
I like that. Oh, Bug Day. It was called Bug Day.
Bug Day, yeah. But the one maybe because it's just fresh in my mind because we just watched it and edited it yesterday and today. So the sugar water isn't necessary. The sugar water, the reason that's pretty common for a prolapse is the prolapse is stuck outside where it's supposed to be. And sugar water is a natural anti-inflammatory. So the theory is that the sugar water may help reduce the swelling and allow the gecko to naturally retract the prolapse. So I don't know if it would be beneficial for an egg-bound or potentially egg-bound female, but it doesn't hurt anything.
Oh, speaking of feeder videos.
Yeah, what do we feed our geckos?
check out the feeder video.
Yeah, go check out Bug Day. We
yeah.
covered all of it in Bug Day. But leopard geckos there's a variety of foods, but leopard geckos primarily mealworms, and African fat tails primarily crickets, and we do mix in other things. So. You know what, Wally, we've jumped around a lot. You know, a lot of the times it was just based on what crickets were available, depending on where you were. And recently, I've said I gotta do a little makeup here. Hold on. Recently, we've settled into Texas banded crickets. They seem to jump really freaking high. They're fast. They're hard to catch. They're loud. But I don't seem to have as much die-off with Texas banded crickets. And it might be because I'm here in Louisiana. I'm right next to Texas now, which is, I suspect, their natural habitat. So, you know, I'm not taking some exotic cricket and moving it somewhere else. So I've done the best with Texas banded. And then I've also done the best with, I order them in, and we breed two to get pinheads and smalls because we need those for baby fat tails and Urodactylodes and you know, other geckos that are small. And I used to get them in 1 inch, so full adult size. And a lot of them would die in the trip because I just think their life cycle is nearing the end. So they didn't make it. And I didn't get to keep them long enough to be able to cycle through all of them. I'd have a lot of die off. And recently, I would say within the last 4 months or so, we switched to 3/4 inch. So the 3/4 inch, I have very minimal die off now. And the 3/4 inch come in and they live much longer. And at 3/4 inch, they're big enough to feed to an adult fat tail. And then, you know, over the next couple weeks, they'll grow. They'll become 1 inch crickets. I drop in, you know, that little breeder box with the tropical soil and eco earth and vermiculite in the cricket container, because while they're sitting there getting gut loaded and drinking water and waiting to get fed off, might as well lay some eggs. So I give them a place to lay the eggs. I take that after about a week, 10 days, and I put the lid on. I stick it in the hot box incubator, and then about 10 days, 14 days later, incubated at 90 degrees, I start getting these little pinhead crickets everywhere. So we're able to keep a cycle going.
Fighting words here.
Oh, there it is. We're back to last night. If you haven't had a chance, go check it out. I don't know if I really have I love both crested and leopard geckos. We produce way more leopard geckos here than we produce crested geckos. And we actually have a unboxing video we haven't finished editing yet, that I just picked up 3 more Urodactylodes, different subspecies than we've been working with. So you're going to have to stay tuned and check that out. I really have a soft spot right now for the little Urodactylodes geckos. Wally, have you ever worked with them? I think you just did a video recently where you, I forget the guy in Reno. He's up in Reno, Nevada. Gecko gecko. I think you just got some in from him. I love the Urodactylodes. It's, you know, it's kind of the same features of a crested gecko, but obviously way smaller. And I house 1-2 groups in chameleon geckos. They're amazing. I house 1-2 groups in a 12 by 12 by 18 bioactive vivarium, and they're awesome. They think that they're camouflage, so you know they're out most of the day, right up against the glass, just hanging onto a branch, and they think you can't see them because they're camouflage, but they're there. Really cool little geckos. I think very underrated in the hobby, and I think there's an opportunity for Urodactylodes.
Do you know the answer to this one?
Well, You know, we have a build up too. You're talking about how we created the air vents in the front of the tubs. It helps on cleaning day. The tanks get pretty wet, and we used to go through the trouble of wiping them all down, drying them all off, and then putting them away before we put the gecko back in there. And that cut way down on that condensation buildup. But we just because of the volume now, we dump them out so they don't have water in them. But when we wash them out, we just dump them out, and there's always a little bit of residual water in there. We just throw our paper towels in, throw them back in the rack, and they will have high humidity. You'll see a lot of condensation on the front. It lasts for about 2 days. So you know what? 2 out of the 7 days, because we do a deep clean on those bins every 7 days. 2 out of the 7 days we have a little higher humidity. That's not uncommon, and I wouldn't worry about it. You can also, if you have that much humidity, just on those days, don't spray as much in your humid hide. What was Wally saying about the Urodactyl? Yeah, I remember you did the video not too long ago. So I agree. Underrated gecko. You guys, we have an unboxing video that, you know, maybe. What season are you on Outlander now?
5.
Is that the last season?
Yeah, they're filming season 6.
Okay, so she's on season 5 now of Outlander. Once, they crested gecko diet. We also we've been using the flightless fruit flies, and because we're creating so many pinhead crickets now, we've been dumping some pinhead crickets in there for them as well. But Handy Dandy is on. She's on season 5, so hopefully she can finish season 5, and we can get that unboxing of the new Urodactylotes edited. So the chameleon geckos, we have a 1-2 group of the Agricolae, and we have a 1-2 group of the Velardes, and we just got a new group of 3 of one of the 2 other subspecies that we're not going to tell you because you got to watch the video. The Agricolae and the Velarde, I've seen no difference in care and how you keep them. Same goes, from what I've heard, same goes with the Occidentalis. And I have no idea if I'm saying any of those right because I just make up scientific names. But it's close. And the Symmetricus, I don't know if I'm saying Symmetricus, I think, is the 4th subspecies. The only difference I've heard environmentally, because I believe they all come from the same New Caledonian island, so environmentally they're all pretty much the same. I have heard a couple breeders that focus on them. I have heard that the Symmetricus, if I'm remembering that right, is they tend to like a little bit more insect than the Pangea diet. Now they still eat the Pangea diet, but they're much more voracious when it comes to having insects available. Breeding wise, this is our first season breeding Urodactylotes. We have found that the Velarde group has been much more prolific. I'm getting as many eggs out of the Agricolae group, but I'm getting a lot more dud eggs, or eggs that don't make it all the way to hatch on the Agricolae side. First season, so I wouldn't say that one's more prolific than the other. So I don't want to make that call. They're all very similar, Agricolae or Velarde. It's just the price difference isn't because one is better than the other. The price difference is generally Agricolae is more readily available than the Velardes. So you tend to pay a little bit more for the Velardes. I do. Well, I use water bowls for adults. I don't use water bowls for babies because babies they poop everywhere. They flip everything over. They make a mess. Even their calcium dishes, they used to flip them over all the time. So we started using these little. I think I have one. Let me grab one. We started using these little Strudi's calcium dishes.
Is it going to be full of water?
No, these are calcium.
Oh.
These little Strudy's calcium dishes. This one just came out of a gecko house. So these are cool. Strudy's has an Etsy store. These are cool because they have a little lip on them, and the geckos can't flip them over. Now they poop in them, but baby geckos poop in everything. So we use water dishes for adults. We do not use water dishes for babies, but we spray our babies' tubs every day or every other day. It just kind of depends on how, whether it all dried up from the previous day or not. So the babies are constantly licking water off the sides. And then as they, move out of their baby rack into an adult rack, as they reach sub-adult size, they'll start getting a water dish. Man, I don't need to put it back.
Oh.
You know what? I'm going to put it back because I'm going to forget.
After he makes a mess on the table.
Yeah, water dishes do increase humidity depending on your enclosure. So I've never really had an issue. My favorite is when you find eggs in the water dish instead of the lay box. It's like, it doesn't make sense. I got to tell this story. A couple seasons ago, my daughter had a gecko lay in the water dish, and those eggs, we found them, and they still look good, so we put them in the incubator. I don't know what it was, but something to do. Obviously, they're clean, right? There's no dirt on them. They're perfectly white. But because they were in the water dish, they were almost translucent. And even without candling them, the entire incubation period, you could see the embryos growing and the geckos growing. And it wasn't like you were looking through a window. It was like you were looking through something more translucent. But without even candling them, you could see them. And I wish we would have time-lapse videoed that. They hatched. They ended up being fine. But that would have been like a National Geographic special, right? Like I don't remember if they were male or female, but it would have been the 50, 60 days of gecko egg development through a window. It was cool. Oh, I didn't answer the question, did I? That's a hard question. I don't know if I have a favorite morph. Maybe a favorite project. I love Black Knights. I love Tangerines. We did pick up this season. We only have one. We picked up a female Gem Snow, and I'm breeding her to a pure Black Knight. Probably the project I was most excited about was Cinco, but he's taking a break. I don't know. I'm really curious to see what that Gem Snow Black Knight project's going to look like. So, this question comes up a lot, and we did a video on genetics, as I believe just about every gecko breeder has either done a paper or a page on their website or a YouTube video talking about what babies will result. We do have a genetics video. It's called Leopard Gecko Genetics Beyond Pundit Squares, and it really talks about mathematics and probabilities.
It was a great video. You did a great
That was a
job.
fun video. So
That was one of your favorite videos too.
yeah, that was a fun video because we used a bunch of different technology on that video. But I would check that video out. And then if you don't want to go through all the trouble, the calculator on Morph Market is very, very helpful. And, a lot of times people will say, well, the morph I have isn't on Morph Market. And most of the time that question is the result of, it's not really a morph, it's a line-bred trait. And that line-bred trait isn't inherited. Well, I don't know. I don't want to get into all the way into the weeds on that. But yeah, it's not as simple as it's a recessive or it's a dominant and it's going to pass. It's going to pass, but it's going to pass in, if I breed a Tangerine to a Black Knight, I'm not going to get like a gecko that half of the gecko is black and half of the gecko is tangerine. I'm going to get varying degrees of that because they're both line bred traits. And then over time, through line breeding, you're going to be able to, hopefully, depends on what your project is, but you're going to be able to refine that generation after generation.
So this is your last Instagram question. Why does everyone get so mad about sand?
Why do you got to put this up? I'm gonna tell a story. Here, I think the fundamental problem with this question is mad. I don't think anybody should get mad. That's the whole purpose of Safe Space, and that's the whole purpose for why we set up the server on Discord. You shouldn't get mad about it. You should help. You should want to help and educate and tell people, that particularly small geckos, baby geckos, sand, you have an extremely high risk of the gecko ingesting that sand and ultimately creating impaction, and particularly with a baby gecko, very high probability it's going to die. But to start messaging people saying that I hope your grandkids die because you put your gecko on sand it's absurd. Why don't you have some patience, take some time, teach them, help develop them in the hobby, and let them see that maybe it's not a good idea. We've been wanting to do. I've been wanting to do a bioactive for leopard geckos or even an African fat tail, and I've been wanting to do one. We've done the foam thing for crested geckos and that whole background with Eco Earth on it. Been wanting to do one with that excavating clay where you can make caves and stuff, and just haven't got around to it. But we'll try. But I'll tell you, in my previous life and my professional career, I had a team member that found out that I was into geckos, and he said, "Man, I've had a gecko for, I think it was like 8 or 10 years." He said, "I had a gecko for 8 or 10 years that was my son's, and then my son, went to high school, stopped paying attention to it, and then ultimately went to college and moved out. And me and my wife have had this gecko forever." And he said, "You have any tips?" And I said, "Well, tell me about your setup." And he's like, "Oh, it's got a 10 or 20 gallon aquarium. It's got a screen top. It's got a heat lamp. It's got a hide and a food dish and a water dish." And I said, "What about substrate?" And he said, "What's substrate?" And I said, "Well, the stuff on the bottom." He said, "Oh, it's on that sand stuff that you buy at Petco." And I feed it crickets, and I said, "It's 8 years old. It's 10 years old, and it's been in that environment the entire time." And he said, "Yeah." And he said, "Should I change it? Is it bad? Should I put under tank heat? Should I get rid of the heat lamp? Should I put down paper towels or slate?" Or I said, "You know what? If you would have asked me that 8 years ago or 10 years ago, I would have told you that. But you're doing something right. The gecko's been here 8 years, 10 years. Just keep doing what you're doing, and hope for the best." Now, I wouldn't recommend it. He might be lucky. He might just have one of those geckos that doesn't eat the sand, or if it eats the sand, it's able to pass the sand. Maybe the heat was enough. Don't want to get into the whole sand debate. I think my primary point on the sand debate is, why get mad? Teach, educate, help, right? Another G's oration, I guess. We rambled. Now, we were only planning to go for about an hour tonight because Handy Dandy's got to go watch Outlander, and I have no intention of breaking Frank's 14-hour record. So if we can jump back to the split screen on questions, and if anybody has any, as I said too, this is not about me sharing information because I don't know everything. I'll never know everything. I think this is a great place, just like the Discord server that we've set up. This is a great place for people to work together and share information and help each other. Not get mad because somebody wants to use sand or overhead or, what all those different variations are. So one last chance, and we're gonna get back to Outlander over here at Luna Geckos.
Whoop, whoop.
Yeah. Well, there you go. 20 plus years, huh? Yeah, I know. I'm sorry.
No, Wally. No.
I'm sorry if I spoiled some Outlander fans out there with my.
If you spoil it, my heart would just break, Wally. My heart would just break. Yeah. I want to watch it. I am actually excited. I've never seen it before because people have been recommending it forever, and I'm trying to hurry up and watch it because Gino was into it for the few episodes he watched. He jumped in on season 3, and now I just want to finish it so we can watch it from the beginning because it really is that good.
So, the Jay, I'm. It's like 78 degrees in here, and I have a T-shirt on, and I'm sweating. You imagine if I had wore the Professor G jacket, the corduroy jacket for this, it would have been crazy. 20 years on walnut back there. That was pretty cool. Very cool.
So look, Wally, I'll take him out if you take me out.
I sleep with one eye open, man. One eye open every night. Well, you know what? It might be time to put the first, because I said we were going to go an hour, and here we are, hour and 10 already. And I do have a stain, I think, on my shirt. It might be down here. Oh, there it is.
I thought it was just rain.
I don't know. I ironed this shirt before the episode, and I was like, son of a gun, and I didn't feel like ironing another one, so I just went ahead and wore it. But it's down below the camera, so it's not a big deal. So let's call it a night. We appreciate everybody coming, tuning in for our first Luna Live Safe Space Q&A. Please use this to make connections with people and help each other, and please feel free. Poppy's yawning. I think she wants to be done too and go watch. She's ready for Outlander. She wants to go watch Outlander. But be sure to check out the Discord Safe Space channel on the Luna Geckos server. And as always, merch, lunageckos.shop. Our geckos are available, or will be available, at lunageckos.com. We're actually sold out at the moment, but we've got a lot of babies starting to hatch. We got a lot of eggs cooking, more eggs coming every day. And that's actually why I'm going to get off, because I got to go egg hunting as soon as we sign out here. But appreciate everybody for coming in. Love y'all. Please be safe. Please be kind. Make sure you say goodbye to Handy Dandy. Handy Dandy, put yourself up.
No.
Put the Outlander up.
No.
Outlander. Real quick. Outlander. So all this, gadgetry.
Wait, here's this is for Adam. Watch, where is it? Oh, can you hear it? It doesn't seem very loud.
Well, that'll do it. I'm G. We're Luna Geckos. That's Handy Dandy Camera Lady. That's Miss Poppy Dog. Till Sunday, 11 a.m. Central Standard Time. Remember, live chat opens at 10:30 a.m. and we do this at the same time, 30 minutes up until the premiere, and then all the way until the premiere ends, we do this same live chat. And it's actually way better for me because by the time that video airs, I've already seen it 47 times through the editing process. So I don't really watch the video. I just listen to the video, and I'm able to actually have communication and talk and chat with folks. So appreciate everybody. Hope you have a great night. Until next time, see ya.